Up in time for the sunrise this morning. Good morning. Very little wind out this morning, so the lake is so close to glass. But the sky is also filled with clouds. So, toot to you too, morning train. Yeah, today is not the day we get the sunrise shot I want. I'm going to stop walking where I am because I don't want to disturb Mama Swan and her cygnets while they have some breakfast. Hello, cutie. Go this way instead. So yeah, relatively mild morning this morning compared to some of the others recently. Still a bit of a chill. Doy. But yeah, this is the first morning, I think, that I've spent in Ballarat where I didn't have to spend a few minutes defrosting my windows before I drove off this morning. So it must have been a reasonably mild evening as well. And I did actually sleep reasonably well. It's a reasonable morning. All the things are reasonable. Still feel a bit sluggish though. Got to sleep dead. It's alright. The weekend at the caravan park will make up for that. Just one more night to get through and I'm off. Mild annoyance. That's loud out here. Hang on a sec. Let's get to the van. Right, what was I saying? Mild annoyance. Try not to focus too much on the cut that just happened. It was very contrived. Obviously, I had to get in the car, set up the camera, get out of the car, then get back into the car to pretend that was a very just naturalistic fluid shot. I hate that shit very often in vlog style content. You see it all the time. I've been watching a lot of TikTok since I became homeless because well, it's just, you know, brain rot, flick through it, just a way to pass the day, and it's designed to chew away hours without you doing much thinking. And I have far too many hours in the day and far too little to keep myself occupied at the moment. So hooray for TikTok. But the amount of TikToks I see where people start the video by putting the camera down in exactly the perfect place and then they step back into the perfect framing, that doesn't look naturalistic. We know you spent the last 3 to 8 minutes setting up that shot carefully just so you could pretend to put the phone down and try and trick people into thinking your carefully orchestrated rant you're about to have or whatever, or your joke or whatever is, you know, off the cuff. Oh, I've got to say this thing right now. I'll just put the camera down. No, nobody. Why? It's so contrived and stupid. I fucking hate it. Anyway, that wasn't my mild annoyance. It was just on my mind. Mild annoyance. I just had my breakfast at Hungry Jack's this morning because I just couldn't stand the thought of another McDonald's breakfast. I think I'm off it again. But the Hungry Jack's ones are really not too bad. They're a little too greasy, too saucy. They're little breakfast burger things, but they do use Turkish bread rolls, which are quite delicious. Anyway, so I use the screen to do my order because fuck talking to a person. And I obviously was half asleep or not paying attention or a bit vague this morning because on my coffee order, I must have ordered a latte, not a flat white. And I know, to some of you, that's like, who cares? They're almost identical in every way as far as ingredients go and quantity of ingredients even. But the difference in texture between a flat white and a latte is important when you're autistic. Now, I don't dislike lattes. I will choose to order a latte sometimes. But when I don't know that I've ordered a latte, and, I take my swig of coffee, and you can't tell it's a latte at Hungry Desk because, they use the little paper cups with the travel caps on. So you can't see that there's all that foam there instead of just a nice consistent coffee. So you swig and the texture's just all wrong and you're not expecting it. And it's wrong. The coffee's wrong, and now my brain is just very, very angry at things. I've talked before about how, the auditory stuff is top of the list for me as far as sensory issues go. Tactility is a second, and I've spoken before about how taste isn't really a problem, but texture, food texture is a big thing. So yeah, I'm all thrown off. Like, it was fine. It was good coffee. I got a double shot, nice and strong. But yeah, because that textural difference was unexpected, it jammed something up in my brain. And it's people will understand if you're in a noisy environment and you say, hey, I'm autistic, this noisy environment causes me stress. People can wrap their heads around that pretty easily. They can even wrap their heads around, the tag at the back of your t-shirt or whatever. Well, most autistics I know immediately rip those things out, or if they're smart, they cut them out carefully. But most of us just forget to do that when we first buy a t-shirt and go, fucking thing, rip. And yeah, like 30% of the time we rip the seam at the back of the neck as well. I've lost a few t-shirts to that, but people can wrap their head around that. We've all had uncomfortable clothes and they think they've got a reference point there, to how aggressively it fucks with our nervous system. But yeah, because this is not the first time this coffee thing has happened to me. Last time was quite some time ago, but I tried to explain it to a friend and they looked at me like I was absolutely insane. But it's the same amount of milk. It's just steamed slightly differently. There's a bit more foam, but it's the same coffee, it's the same milk, it's the same sugar. No, it's not the same. It's different. That's why they have different names. Yeah, they didn't get it. And frankly, it is one of the sillier things, even from my perspective, which is why I'm giggling about it, even though it probably did mess with my head, and it still is. Like, how long have I been 6 minutes of video about it? Or leading into it, outside of that rant about the TikTok crap. It messes with you. So, yeah, I don't know how to get unmessed this morning. Too early to be eating sour candy to try and reboot the sensory thing. I don't know, man. Might just have to go down by the lake and watch the swans for a while. Wrong coffee. Okay, so I came to a local shopping center to have that walk around that I tried and failed yesterday because I was just extra sensitive or something. I don't know. I am absolutely extra sensitive today as well. Been noticing myself doing there's a little stim that I do sometimes, rubbing these two fingers against my thumbs just for some tactile stimming. It's one of the more subtle ones I sometimes find myself doing when I don't have anything to actually fiddle with. Sometimes I roll a coin around, stuff like that. It's one of those things that goes unnoticed in public, as opposed to some stims which are a bit socially disruptive. So I'm tense about something. I can't quite peg it down, so to speak. Quiet you. Yes, you know who I'm talking to. And I don't feel especially anxious, but I don't know, maybe I'm bearing that. In any case, I decided while I was walking around, just doing a couple of laps of the shopping centre, that I was going to treat myself to something, nothing big, just something stupid. So I set a $5 limit. I said, I'll find something for $5 in one of those, reject shop, the $2 shop, or, Kmart toy aisle or something. And I did find something. I did find something in the Kmart toy aisle that I thought was interesting. But before we get there, a couple other things I spotted. Let's have a chat about that. Remote control turtle party van. It looked really cheap and nasty, but part of my brain went, I want that. The part of my brain that's still a 12-year-old boy. If I was in a position with lots of disposable income and, say, a place to live with maybe a little workshop, I would buy it and modify it, I think. I would like to modify it to make it go fast and put a little camera in there or something. I don't know. Paint it. I want space for hobbies. That's what I want. Also, I don't think I made a mention of it, but it snuck in as a little bit of B-roll into a video a week or two ago. There's a unicorn-themed Nerf blaster style thing. I don't think it's Nerf brand. It's one of the Nerf competing brands. There was a rifle type thing, but all unicorn themed. And I found the handgun version of that today. Again, fairly tempted. The part of my brain that just wants to burn money on stupid shit. Impulse control, by the way. Still hanging on to that for the moment, but sometimes when I get a bit overstimulated or even hypomanic, which I don't think is an issue right now, I don't feel like that's on the cards here, but I'm keeping an eye on my behavior because today feels weird. Yeah, so if impulse control was a problem, I might have picked up the unicorn blaster thing just because it makes me smile that that's a thing that exists. But impulse control remained intact, plus it was way outside the budget I'd said of $5. Just find something fun for $5, something that'll make you smile for $5. That was the plan. And then I got round to where the Lego was. You'll never get any Lego for $5 outside of maybe those, singular blind box minifigs that I think regular price 12, but sometimes you find them for 5 on sale. In fact, I got one for 5 on sale a few weeks back when I got the little Spider-Man guy. He was back there. But I'm not sure how long they've had it. But Kmart in Australia have a in-store brand called Anchor. They've been around for a very long time. I think they started with like kitchen appliances and stuff, Anchor branded microwaves and stuff. Just they're cheap, not cheap and nasty, but some of the stuff is kind of cheap and wibbly. But some of it's surprisingly good, like pretty decent stuff. They don't manufacture anything themselves under that brand. I'm pretty sure it's all rebranded stuff from China, which brings us to the toy aisle. And I've only spotted it since I've been on my travels recently because Kmart wasn't a place I frequented very much when I was living in Sydney. But they have their own brand of Lego blocks, and they seem, I haven't tested it yet, but they seem like they're Lego compatible. But I did recognize a lot of the sets they have under this Anchor Play Block brand or whatever it is, because I've seen many of these sets before on those cheapo Chinese, bulk websites, and even Amazon from Chinese sellers. This camera, for example, I know for a fact I've seen that on Amazon before because I've nearly bought it before because, I love cameras and I love Lego, and that seemed like a fun thing I could build to put on the shelf as a bit of set decoration. But yeah, there were several other things that I know I've seen those sets before under different brands on Amazon and other places. So they're, again, rebranding this stuff for in-store. But they had little pouches of little mini sets for $2. And I saw one that took my fancy. They come in little themed. They have an animal themed set of 4, and then like a household themed set of 4. Then a coffee maker and a piano and whatever. And I got the fish tank one because well, we were talking recently about how I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice to set up an aquarium again if and when I actually get a place to live again? So I thought that was mildly amusing. There's also a little mini TV set, little CRT style TV set that I was quite tempted by. Coffee machine looks pretty good too, but I went with the fish tank. But yeah, $2. So we're going to put that together. I don't know, maybe tomorrow when I get to the caravan park. That'll be one of my little chill out activities. But I still had $3 spare in my budget, so I kept looking, and I found the Hot Wheels. I don't remember how much Hot Wheels were when I was a kid. I did have a small collection of them. Hot Wheels, Matchbox cars, that style of thing. I'm not sure whether Hot Wheels is a global brand or not, but Matchbox cars, little mini toy cars. But they had a reasonable selection of Hot Wheels there, and I was looking for one that looked a bit like the van. I thought that'd be fun. I put a little miniature version of the Shuttlepod on the dash of the Shuttlepod. Wouldn't that be cute? But no, they didn't have anything even close. What they did have, though, was a model of a Japanese motorcycle that I've always wanted. It's not very practical. I'm not sure what it would cost to get it in Australia. I've never bothered to try and do the conversion or figure out whether he can import them at all. But ever since I first saw one, I went, I want one of those, just because it is so unique. And it is the Honda Motocompo. No, it's no longer a collectible. You've opened the packaging. Come here. Gotcha. Look at that cute little buddy there. The Honda Motocompo. It is actually a folding scooter, hence the weird shape. The seat and the handlebars fold down into the bodywork there. And you'd think that's, kind of a modern idea, those little folding bikes and stuff you see around these days. No, this is from 1983. This goes way back. And there is a modern descendant of this. Honda actually makes something called the Moto Compacto, which is, as you might imagine, an electric motorcycle along a similar idea. It is not nearly as kind of cool looking or stylish as this, though, I think, in my opinion. It's just kind of a weird white, retro futuristic box. It looks like a kitchen appliance, whereas this thing, it looks like something fun to ride. Yeah, it seems like a pretty decent little model of it. I mean, some of these Matchbox / Hot Wheels cars or whatever are, kind of nasty looking things, but this one has a fairly decent amount of detail for a $2 toy. I don't remember these things being so cheap. Have they just plummeted in price? Then again, when I was a kid, a lot of them were still made out of metal, like die-cast metal. It's a dying art. Name that reference. Just while I'm fiddling with it, by the way, I was talking about die-cast before. I think some of this is actually metal. It's quite heavy. Yeah, I think the inner bodywork is actually still die-cast. What do you know? Whoops. But yeah, for a little plastic $2 vehicle toy, seems fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a way to put it on my keyring or something. Maybe I could hang it from the mirror or something. I honestly don't know how people do that. Drive with stuff hanging from the mirror as wibbly wobbly dancing distractions while they're trying to see the road. It would drive me absolutely bonkers. Maybe it's just an autism thing. Maybe I'll glue it down here somewhere. No, that would still be a distraction. Down there. I'll put it in there. I'll get some super glue it there or something. I don't know. Now, while we're on the subject of toys, they finally did the big reveal of the new Lego branded Enterprise. Enterprise D, as in Star Trek Next Generation Enterprise. Oh God, I want it so badly. I used to have a Mega Bloks Enterprise that got stolen many years ago in an interstate move, when the moving truck broke down overnight and got broken into overnight, and almost everything I owned got stolen. So that's a whole other thing, but it came with a little card figure and everything, a little phaser. It was awesome. But it was Mega Bloks. So Mega Bloks are not known for their stellar quality of material or clutching power of their bricks. So it was always a bit rickety, but it looked great. But yeah, these days, Lego have actually got the license for Star Trek toys, so I'm hoping to have more and more and more sets come out, please. But yeah, it's a very expensive set. It's very big. It's one of those, collector's sets that you spend many hundreds of dollars on. And it's just for the adult collectors. It's not a toy for kids to play with, all that kind of stuff. But it looks amazing, though. Here's the thing, though. They also have a shuttle. I forget which shuttle it is. Was it the Type 7 shuttle? I forget. I saw it this morning when I was barely awake, scrolling through my social media feeds. But it looks great. And I thought, that's what I need. That's clearly, because the whole gimmick of the van here has been, I'm on an adventure in my Shuttlepod, because it's vaguely Shuttlepod shaped. Just for a bit of joy in my life while living like this. But I thought, fantastic, I'll get the Shuttlepod kit. But apparently, it's a free with purchase deal for the initial release of the Enterprise. I haven't done much digging yet. I'm pretty sure you can't buy it separately. I'm sure it will be hawked on eBay for horrific prices. But very, very disappointed that it doesn't appear that you can buy that separately. So, here's what I'm hoping. Somewhere out there, someone will get this, scan the instructions, upload them online with a parts list. And if I have to, I will order the damn parts separately and build one of my own. Obviously, that's a bit of outside of the scope of what I can do while living like this, but, one way or another, I want that Lego Shuttlepod. And I know it's a weird thing to sort of be into the Shuttlepods of Star Trek, because they're such a little utilitarian thing. Most of them don't look very cool. They're kind of boxy shaped, a lot of them. Except the Type 9. Oh, I like the Type 9 shuttle. Or the Delta Flyer, although that's not technically a shuttle, but they used it in many ways like a shuttle. And that wasn't really a production unit anyway. Because some very, very interesting things happen in the shuttles in a lot of the shows. Because that's one of the easier ways that when you're writing a Star Trek episode, you can do an elevator episode, which is, a writing gimmick where two people get stuck in an elevator and you just have these wonderful, there's almost no set, nothing to interact with. So all you're left with is the characters. And so you have to have the characters interact. And that often leads to some very interesting writing, some very interesting episodes, as far as I'm concerned, from someone who does, very much enjoy those character moments in these ensemble shows. Action is fun, and puzzles and mysteries and all that sort of stuff you can do in other episodes. But if you don't have at least a few good, character-based episodes where, people are just trapped somewhere and it's all about how these two characters interact, problem solve, all that sort of stuff. One of my favorite episodes of Star Trek Enterprise happens to be a elevator episode that happens in a shuttle. I'm sure I don't have to tell you which one it is. That was a long exposition just talking about a fictional van, space van. Well, that's what you're getting today. There's not much else going on today. The weather's kind of miserable. And I'm just sort of burning through the day, hoping that a new place will pop up on the real estate sites that I can ask for an inspection for, but there are no inspections scheduled today. And yeah, just gotta make it till tomorrow. I'm driving north for an hour to get to Caravan Park to spend my weekend relaxing, properly relaxing. Hopefully, it's the plan anyway. So yeah, today's kind of empty. So this is the stories you're getting. Okay, day is drawing to a close. There have been no new listings on the real estate sites, unfortunately. But one of the places I already inspected has come up for re-inspection. So obviously they rejected all the applicants the first time around. However, this one is that specific place where I effed up the application the first time around, and it got saved as a draft instead of being submitted on time. I did eventually submit it, but it was like more than a week late at that point. So I don't know whether that screwed anything up. Maybe they accepted someone else by then, so they didn't even look at it. But then that person got a different place offered to them. They decided to take the other one. That happens sometimes. So without knowing exactly what the deal is, it's just going to be another one of those places for the second time. Another one of those places I re-inspect and reapply for. Maybe this time the recommendation letter from a mate we talked about yesterday or day before, whatever it was. Maybe that'll be a difference maker. Maybe I'll change up some wording on the "hey, you should rent to me" little self blurb thing. I don't know, but it's worth trying. It's worth trying. Anyway, that inspection's not till late next week, so that's it. It's Friday now. I've got nothing scheduled inspection-wise until late next week, so might be a bit of a tricky week coming up. I'll have to figure out something to do about that. Right now, though, right now is an easy problem to solve. I'm hungry. So let's go solve that problem. Whoopsie doodle. Forgot to film the outro before I got all settled at the back of the van. Now it's too dark back here. I mean, I could turn the lights on, sure, but Anyway, thank you very much for making it through the video. Thank you very much for everyone who's helped out with the PayPal along the way, or the Super Chats along the way, or the Patreon. And also thank you to everyone who remembered to give the video a like with that little thumb button there. And also every single one of you who left a comment. I read them all. So, goodbye to you, and goodbye to another uninspiring day.